Welcome back to Modern Homestead Alaska. We are at the off-grid cabin today, working on water and septic. Unbelievably, we have tried incredibly hard to get a well. We cannot get a well in this area because of water quality. Therefore, we have a new plan. Won't you join us today? Welcome to Modern Homestead Alaska. We are Aaron and Jessica Milnes. We are building a modern homestead outside of Wasilla, Alaska, with the help of 3 of our children. Our second son, Caleb, our daughter, Cody Ann, and the youngest of our family, Wyatt, along with our 3 dogs, Tipper and Daisy, and the newest addition, Roberto. This is Bravo. Just wanna, how do you say that? Like a Belgian Malinois, something like Bravo. Say hi to the camera. Bravo, say hi to the camera. He's the sweetest sweetheart. We also don't screw around with him. Hi, Matt.
Hi.
Matt's here. What's going on?
Not too much. The septic's all done.
No way. Let's look.
This line right coming up here, so it'll be plugged in. And then I got pictures too for you.
Sweet. And you hardly took out anything.
Nope.
Wow.
You told me not to.
Well, you know how we are. That is Osgood Excavating. We've used him so many times. So have our neighbors. So if you're local, you totally have to check them out. Amazing, amazing work. We've even shown you on our videos. And our biggest hiccup that Matt deals with is we never want trees taken out. And he manages, it may cost you $1 or $2 extra, but he manages to not do that to us. So if you're willing to pay for it, you can keep your trees, right?
Oh yeah.
To put in the water tank, we are going to dig until we hit groundwater. As soon as that happens, it would cause the tank to float up. We'll address all of that in just a moment. And on this day, we hit groundwater at a whole whopping 7 feet.
See the little rocks poking up everywhere.
What Malachi is straightening out here is our water table is so high. So we are burying a water tank, which Matt is going to explain to us now, and then I'll jump back in. Matt's going to explain to us. Go on.
But my only question is, this is going to be your reserve, and then this is your supply. But your reserve we can run to the shower house.
Okay.
But you just won't have a reserve at that point, so that's optional. Otherwise we can tee off your supply. This is going to be your vent and then your fill line.
Okay. So how does it actually work? We bury this.
Yes, and that's not going to be that deep. You'll have a 2-inch line that's connected that goes right to there, and that's going to go up, and that's going to be your fill. We'll label it. This will be your vent with a little cap on it, and then this line is going to come up. It's going to go all the way down to about right here.
Okay.
And that's your supply. So then that's going to come up 90, go down in the ground, then go up into your cabin. And then this one's going to go all the way to the bottom.
Okay.
So if your supply runs out, then you can switch over to your reserve, and then that's when you know you got to fill it back up.
Okay, got it.
And then you're going to have a pump on the inside of the cabin.
Nice. So we're going to bring that water tank over here, and then we're going to use the giant concrete blocks that they have on the truck to anchor down the water tank, because we don't want it floating in the water of the water table. So with all that said, the idea is, because we cannot have a well out here, we will fill a potable or a fresh water tank, and then we'll pump the water into the house and the shower room. So it has 2 areas that it pumps from, and then it has a fill and then a vent. The vent is necessary when they fill the water, right, to push the air out of the tank. So the other thing we had installed was a septic tank. The septic now will not work this winter because what is happening is a bathhouse sort of thing is being built off the backside of this cabin. Next year is our hope, but when you're paying to have one done, you might as well do both at the same time. So we had the septic put in. The septic has to go in before you could even put a bathroom in anyway. So we had the septic tank put in as well, and then it'll plumb straight from here into the septic. The goal with the septic, because we are so close to the river and groundwater and all of those different things, we cannot have a traditional leach field. In fact, what we would have had to do is a raised step down, build it. It's all out of the ground, super, super ugly. So what we have put in is a massive holding tank, basically. It doesn't leach, meaning the clean water, so the solids go in the tank, clean water raises up and it leaches out. We're not doing that. What we're actually doing is that everything goes into the holding tank. Therefore, it's just black water going into the holding tank. And then every 3 years, you have to have the tank pumped. You already have to have that done. There will be an alarm on this tank, as well as this one, that says, hey, hold up, wait a minute. You're empty or you're full. Get me something going on here. So this alarm on this tank will let us know when it is getting about 3/4 of the way full. At that point, we have a septic company pump this tank. When this one does the same, we call and we have potable water delivered. But they have companies, believe it or not, if you're looking at and you're stuck in a situation like this, they have companies out here that deliver clean, potable drinking water, and then this water will be used for the kitchen and the shower room. It's a very tedious project in order to get that base, that substrate right on so that we can put the water tank in. We need it to be level and we also need it to be above groundwater.
That's what we'll put on the line.
Is there even any place for lunch around here?
That gas station will have the best burger you'll ever have.
The best burger is at the Houston Lodge. Have you gone there yet? Aaron and I.
The one with the mushrooms? That's the best one there.
So it says Houston Lodge and it's right next to Miller's Market?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have one, I forget the name of it, but it's got a bunch of sauteed mushrooms and onions.
Yeah! Okay, I don't do mushrooms, so I wouldn't know, but they fry their burger in onions.
Down. Stop. Yeah, I know about that burger.
Is it?
I know. Most of the places in this state I know about. Perfect. Oh, really? So what, you owe me lunch?
Houston Lodge it is. there may be some questions and debate on location of tanks. Because neither one of the tanks leach, we're not really worried about the location as to proximity to each other. But with the water tank, you cannot drive over it, because in the end you'll see we need a total of 10 feet from the ground or the bottom of the tank to the top, insulation wise, so on and so forth. You cannot drive over this tank. So it does need to be where we can get water in it, but also where no one runs the risk of running over the top of it. So Mitchell's in Alaska is here to help me. I don't know if you watch their channel, but I adore them. We grew up in the same area, and wouldn't you have it, my one job was to get water out here to fill these tanks so that they don't float up. And I called and I had all that pre-set up, my one and only job. And what happened was they said, oh yeah, and now we need you to fill out an application, do a bunch of stuff, and we have nothing on the books and blah, blah, blah. So we need some water in here. And because they haul water, right? You haul water to your place too. Yep. They came down to rescue us and put some water in this tank for us. So.
You got a cord?
I forgot the key to the Connex, so we have no power. Now we're cutting into the Connex. Story of my life. Now that we have power, we can resume at getting some water into this tank. It's a 1,000-gallon tank. I don't know if I've mentioned that. And then they've hauled us 200 gallons. You can either use a service or you can haul water yourself. There is a well in Willow if you're moving to this area you could use. Okay, huge thanks to Mitchell's in Alaska for at least getting some water in. All right. We're at my house now. My camera died out there. I'll see kind of where I was at here in a little bit. I'll check the video. Anywho, Aaron has all of this styrofoam, right? But it's foam insulation. That is going out to the cabin. That is going to help insulate the water lines and the tank, and that is, like they said, it could be a little overkill. However, it's exactly what we need to keep everything from freezing. So Aaron's securing that down, checking his load, and we're off back to the cabin. We're up close and personal right now. 7:30 at night. He just got home from work. He had to race home to do this. They will be back in the morning to finish with the tank, so we got to get headed back to the cabin. So many big changes. Let's just take a look around. All right. So unfortunately, this giant tree here had to go. It does open up the view to the river. We were going to be messing around the root system, and the whole top of the tree I didn't show you was dead, and so it already was at risk of falling on the cabin. By the time we put all the water lines in, it would kill the root system, so we guaranteed we would kill that tree on accident. So it was best to remove it and then get all of the sloping is going to happen tomorrow done correctly. So once it comes off the tank, all of this has to be insulated, so there will be a mound a little bit over the ground, and then it needs to slope towards the river. So ironically, you come out and you think, oh, we're just gonna dig a couple of holes, no big deal. It all is a big deal when you have living water running through your property and really high potential of flooding. So the giant excavator leaves tomorrow. Therefore, anything we needed excavated needed to be done today. They'll bring in smaller equipment to finish out the job. So the big tree left while I was gone to get Aaron, and then we move on, but they got it all cleaned up. So all this will be smoothed out with smaller machinery. We compacted up here around the tank while I was gone, and then it runs across. So the driveway is super nice now. They cleaned up, you can't see where my truck is, but they literally got all of this area that Caleb has flattened out to park. And then, so this is super funky. We can't touch the water at all, and we didn't, but you can go up to the bank of the river, and so they're tidying all of this up, and just everything is now nice and clean. There's What'd you say?
9 fish.
I know.
And then they're all swimming right back and forth right here.
I know. So we keep coming out here and kicking the dead ones in the river. Otherwise the smell would be really high, and the mosquitoes are already really bad. But look, there's... So I think it's already spawned out, but it is dying. It is so crazy. So those of you
Not an eater.
that don't know, once those salmon spawns, meaning the eggs and so on, they die. They don't go back to live some happy life in the ocean. So anything that comes up river is coming up to die. That's cool. So there. Is it still alive? That dead fish? Gross. So now this is the finished work, but we're trying to make it where we can get the little John boat in and out of the river, and then just giving a better slope from the cabin, making sure that it doesn't flood. It's crazy though, huh?
What?
Like, I was just telling them that you think you come out here and you just dig a couple of holes and throw a septic tank or whatever in, but everything at that point has to be thought through as far as the land. Aaron, where are you going?
Home.
We are not. We're supposed to be unloading foam. The foam, by the way, Aaron got for free at work. They're putting those in the big planter boxes I've told you guys about on previous videos. Anyway, so we got all this foam, super expensive score, and we're gonna insulate underneath the cabin with it, but we're also gonna use it to insulate the tank. And Aaron's like, just come on, let's go see what we can catch. That's the only problem with this being your backyard. Huh?
Yeah.
Nothing. Oh my gosh, so good. Circle of life. And now like this, because the mosquitoes are so bad at night. Anyway, we're done trying to get fish because we have a job to do. So we're gonna load this foam. Tell me, what size foam is this? Where did you get the foam? And what was it?
So we're just using the structural foam for fill and some planters that we used. I mean, had it worked that we had to take all the dirt out of. We replaced it with foam for most of it, and then poured concrete on top of the foam. So these foam blocks that we had were 4x4 by 8
feet.
So 4 foot by 4 foot by 8 foot long.
Gotcha.
And then we just cut off what we didn't need.
And this is just scrap.
Yep.
Nice. And what are you gonna do with it?
Insulate the tanks and then the skirting around the bottom of the cabin.
Gotcha. And this is overkill, they said, but it's perfect, right?
Yeah.
Why is it overkill?
It's a little thicker than what you would need.
Than what someone would pay for?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So although you would never pay for foam like this, it is the best option we have, and thank God it cost us $0. Well, the gas. Oh, you're so strong.
Phone.
Can you do that by yourself?
No.
Big guy.
You need to get over here. Stack them up nice. Run out of there and just put them up nice.
Seriously, did I look ridiculous? I did not know it was that much. That is so much. That's a huge amount.
It is. When you pump up and then it's not pumping, instead of that water going back down in there, it's got a valve, so it shuts off, so it holds the water in the lines.
Oh, nice.
So I think when you go to get the pump, then you'll just have to say about that 9-foot pump you were talking about.
Nice. So they're all labeled? Regular and reserve?
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, right. It is so wild what changes in an hour around here. So we have the heat trace is wrapped around all of the pipes. I gotta get the keys. So we do have to battle some things out here. It is Alaska. It gets super cold. Willow gets more snow than our house does, so on and so forth. What heat traces is the black electrical that you see that's running around the pipes. The heat trace, I'll mention it again in a little bit, is also around the pipe that will come from the toilet and then into the septic tank. So where the tank had to be versus where the black water travels, so on and so forth. Everything has to either be insulated 10 foot deep or has to have this electrical heating system put on it in order to keep these pipes from freezing up here in Alaska. Now, wherever you live, the depth may be quite different and you may not even need this. When we lived in Arizona, I kid you not, the water that went from our holding tank to our house was less than a shovel's worth of soil to be insulated. It would kind of get cold a little bit when around Christmas when it would get freezing, but for the most part, that area of Arizona never got cold enough that you didn't even need to bury your water. So here in Alaska, we are putting what is heat trace on all of it in order to keep anything that is at less than that 10-foot mark from freezing. So there you have it. That's kind of what we're talking about. We just continue on this day, getting everything in, buttoned up, covered up. I did some cleanup for Caleb around the cabin. I left, and now the next clip you're gonna see is where we're at currently. The finished product, we still have to figure out a pump and some other things, so I hope that you join us, but let's see the finish. Okay, we've made it back out to the cabin. The girls are inside with us. I thought I would take you a quick look around of what it looks like now that the groundwork is all done. Now you're gonna have to use your imagination a little because all of this is going to go back to natural greenery, minus the fact there's some humps now. So this is now our septic system. It is all buried. Like I said earlier in this video or the previous one, the addition goes here. Hey, there's my 1 in a million man. 1 in a million coming out. He is here to do some measurements for insulation, some other things. We'll get to that in just a second. So here's the septic system, and it runs basically a shower / toilet will be added on that are warm and indoors, and they will get, somehow there's a 1,000-gallon tank here. It comes, okay, so this has to be heated. That's why the heat trace is there, right? So that is heated so that this doesn't freeze up. The tank is here, and then we get it pumped. It is just kind of held in there until it's pumped. We have 2 lots out here. We've worked really hard on making sure that everything is done on 1 lot. Therefore, if we ever wanted to build on the other lot, there's more land across the river than is on this side of that lot, so on. So here are our lot lines, and any work done, although there's some cleanup and so on, anything as far as water, septic, all of that is contained on 1 lot. So our new driveway is wider and flat, perfectly workable. And then we have this little hump here. This will become kind of flower bed next year with this area. I can just envision my mom doing some flowers, and it'll kind of wrap around like this, a walkway here, and so on. There's the propane. So then heading down the driveway here, this is so much smoother, believe it or not. And then over here, they straightened all of this out. This is where Caleb can park his boat. The Ford had to get moved out of the way. We can actually go out the front side onto the road and bring it over here. It'll get parked over here as well. But this is a nice flat spot. If we had someone with, say, like a camper came to visit, we can turn around trucks and trailers now on the property and so on. Cody pulled in. We left this whole grove of trees here. Everything looks super healthy. That was a conversation we had, was leaving every healthy tree we possibly could. All of this looks healthy. It'd be super nice to kind of do some rocks around it and then some wild vegetation, but you now can drive in this way or that way if need be. And then what happens is they brought out their fancy machine. They worked with the slope a little bit. I'll show you that in a minute. This is now water. Like I said, we exhausted every option for water on this property, and this is what we ended up with. This is a 1,000-gallon tank. That is where it's pumped and vented. Everything else is insulated and buried. Everything is insulated and buried here up to the pipe sticks out under the house over there. The water will go into the house there. Easy peasy. That is kind of how it's all designed now. And then, okay, so, and then the slope that they worked on was moving all of this, everything you see, towards the water. So that I think is going to be super beneficial. Oh, again, we still have the swing set here, and then it kind of wraps around this little area. There needs to be like a little woodshed or something there. All of that'll be taken care of, but all of this ground from there, shoop, 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 all the way down, opened up the view to the river. But more than anything, we sloped everything towards the river for natural runoff. And then they just kind of cleaned up. No trees were taken out in this general area, but man, that really just opened all of it up. We now have a smooth slope shoop, that just goes up to what is river, and now we can back our little boat in. The John boat can come back out here, and then all of this will become kind of natural vegetation, like all of this you see here again. But what could essentially happen now is if my mom were to move out here, she would easily be able to turn any of these spaces into garden, those sort of things. So it's all very, very clean, very tidy, sloping the right direction, and that is what is important. So when we get to figuring out the pump and all of the different things and hooking up the water finally, I hope you will stick around and join us for that. You can do that by hitting the subscribe button, ring the bell, you'll get notifications, thumbs up and comments all help our channel to grow. I really hope you enjoyed some time with us. I know this was a long video with the water. Like we've said previously, every one of these cabins is so custom. It's very difficult to kind of choose a one size fits all for all of it, but join us on this journey so we work together as a family to try and set this up long term for my mom. Short term, Caleb is living here. Join us on this road, would you? We'll see you guys in the next video.